voice is starting to go a little bit, so I don't want to be speaking all the way up until the whistle blows, as it were. But here, we have a 1 versus 1 between Ninja Turtle, I think that's Smurf, and Nimzo. And this is Complaint Department. Season 8 ranked map. Not a lot of metal between close spawns, but lots of expansion around the other side. Smurf in blue on the north, going bots into air, into bots. Into air, into bots, into air, into vehicles. Looks like he's playing Snake almost, doesn't it? Meanwhile, down here, Nimzo, bots into air, into bots, into vehicles. So you've got bots double air versus bots air bots. Interesting. Interesting. We've got a boombot coming out already. Let's see, can that sniper fab, presumably going for this expansion or this expansion here. Nice Firefly coming out here from Smurf. Will be able to spot this unless he wanders straight down. Ooh. Nimzo always tries these sneaky things at the beginning of the game. Most higher level players do, some shape or form. Go the Firefly trying to find some expanding fabbers. Will he be successful? No, is the answer, so he's just going to leave it there, sentry. But he sees the fabbers going off in a thiswardly direction. I might even station the boombot over here. Having that motion of the Firefly, keeping it alive. It's decent for the boombot. Meanwhile, what's happening down here? Gradual expansion, both players expanding at about the same rate. Smurf there with the Galata straight away before the factory. Interesting. Typically you tend to have factories going up first. Boombot still reluctant to give up. Still being a pest, still a threat. Meanwhile, Smurf going for the classic Bumblebee Fabber raid. Or not. By the looks of things, Nimzo with his double air will have the superior counts here. Will he get the superior trade? He will not. Somehow. Excuse me. Getting up his second bot factory now, just about moving to the Polar Mechs Expos. Yes, still flying sentry. Boombot's still alive. Not for very much longer though. Little quick peck from these docks and he's gone. There we go. Nice work. It's not too much of a threat for Smurf for the time being. Nimzo's there though. Still will be. There's two factories. Never stay alive. That's a pretty big win there. Didn't manage to get bombed that time, so they can still go for this expansion down the side. Coming in for another pass. Ooh, nice micro there. Keeping them alive still, and Spinner's coming in to save the day. Ooh, one more try, and they both go down in that second try! Oh! The exit frag, as it were. That's a pretty big win there for Nimzo. That stops that expansion going up in its entirety and delays it big time. Meanwhile, though, Smurf on this side. Gets his own win and manages to take down an Expo. Pretty nice. Well, might just about. Yeah, there we go. That being said, Nimzo's still ahead in terms of the metal count. And factory count. It's going to be a case of who's going to get up that T2 first. Nimzo had already started his. Working on it with a couple of fabs, so not necessarily working on it in a big way at this stage. More of a latent T2 than anything else. Probably doesn't necessarily have enough metal to put any more fabricators on that at the moment. He's still trying to expand in multiple different locations and directions. Smurf that's doing the same. Also managed to get an air fab out there. Again, another set of air fabs. We're seeing a lot of those today. I mean, if they pay for themselves, why not? Why not? Nimzo over with the air with a singular bumblebee. Won't be able to take down these guys. Sees the Galata. Hightails it out of there. Will he be able to get in on the ground with this slot, though? It's possible. A bit tricky. He's got a turret to deal with, but the fabbers have to move on sometime. He's got his problems on the other front, though. Got quite a sizable force of bots coming in. Should just about be able to deal with this double point turret. Will they be able to take down the proxy factory as well? I don't know. The spinners are all gone. No, they won't. Killing off those spinners was quite a big thing there. Smurf only just starting his T2, meanwhile Nimzo is almost completing his. That's going to be a big thing for the next part of this game. Smurf gradually creeping his units forward, encircling Nimzo, giving him the breathing space to expand on the top. He has got more metal now than Nimzo does. So managed to have a successful raid on this side. We'll do a little bit more damage. Can he take down one more mechs? Yes, he can. Potentially a second. It'd be quite a big win if he can. It's going to be close. Does. Keep Smurf close to him in terms of income and limits the amount that he can really put on this T2 factory. He's got loads of fabricators on there, but he's stalling big time. A lot of that is because he's just had 4 metal raided. And yet we're still trying to build pelters on the sides here. Does have quite nice reach though, that pelter. Covers that entire region. Really nice placement. Has it got a radar combined with it? That it has, which covers an even greater extent. But for some reason I can't see it. Coming in the back now is Smurf, going to keep Nimzo on his toes again. We'll be able to take down a couple of mechs here. Maybe just the one. By the time these Slanners and Gillies pop into action. There you go, that force won't be able to do a huge amount else. I meant to say. Nimzo now really starting to get his expansion started on the other side of this planet now, which is good. What he's been after for a while is to really get some momentum. Smurf had the lead in the first part of this game, but Nimzo now starting to catch up, closing the gap on the eco and actually surpassing. And a lot of that is because of these successful raids that Nimzo keeps managing to pull off. We're even seeing locusts come out of Smurf here. How efficacious will those be? Not a huge amount. There's not a lot of undefended mechs. There's these 3 here. And those 2. But there's not a lot of scouting. Otherwise these guys would have been able to deal with them. And Nimzo's starting to push out with a couple of large forces now. Coming up down to the poles. Nom 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 nom. Doesn't finish it off! Oh, that's why you have scouts. Pros don't scout. Oh no! That could have been quite a big raid there. We could have had 3 mechs, 4, 5 mechs potentially even gone. So that's 30 metal there that could have just been chewed up. That was a big missed opportunity. Big, big missed opportunity. Nimzo now going to respond in kind. He's got his own locusts. And he's pushing on the front there. Pelter's trying to pick off. Got some attacking gillies, as well as a defending one coming into the line now. Slammers dancing around, seeing what they can do. There is a spinner in the back there. The bumblebees immediately aggro it. Don't manage to get a huge amount else done. Gillies still trying to do what they can. Another defensive pelter just about in range. And he's doing some work there. He's just had a couple of really nice hits. Fortunately, that expansion is gone. Smurf falls further behind. And now here we come with the locusts. Again, another lack of scouting here from Nimzo. What can he see? Nothing. Pat, pat. Oh! Ooh! He just about got through. Took one down, but not a huge amount of damage done with that one. But there you go. Seems to be a bit of a standoff there. Nimzo could push in, really, in all honesty. Going for a T2 vehicle factory now. Interesting. Will we see shellers? Shellers could be very big on this map. Station them on the other side of these metal walls. They will be able to kill off all of this with impunity. Look at all that power that could get a few shellers down there. Or even grenadiers, for that matter. That would be nasty. Case of getting them close enough and getting them to survive, that's the next problem. Yeah, still doing what it can from Nimzo though. Smurf, blissfully unaware of all of this, still falling behind. What can Smurf see? Not a huge amount. Doesn't know T2 vehicles are on the cards. Just about sees that all of these turrets are going up at these expansions. Doesn't see any other expansions really. Does see this proxy on the back there from Nimzo, which is a bit nasty. Now trying to push in directly into the base though. This direct push could do some damage. Can Nimzo see it coming? He can't. He cannot see this push. And he doesn't have many units in his base. He could start to lose a lot of factories here. He sees one gets taken out. Will he start to reroute his armies? There it comes. So he'll lose 4 mechs here, a couple of factories and a few P-gens before he can really deal with this attack. This is a really nice attack from Smurf. Very opportune. There's even a commander there. I don't think he's going to be able to hunt it down in time, but it's going to be close. Gillies are close and in range, but they're too busy trying to deal with that. Commander taking a few shots from Slammers. But he's managing to weather the storm there, only down to 93%, so don't panic. And here's Smurf, rather than engaging that in the army, deciding, actually, you know what, I'm in here now. Let's have a little nose around and raid a little bit. Meanwhile, though, Nimzo now, deciding, okay, you're going to play like that, will you? Fine, I'll throw all my violins at you in this big old horde. And out they roll. could say this is the next movement. Never mind. God, the raiding is doing well from Smurf here. Nimzo now down below 200 metal for the first time in a while. Look at all these units working together in harmony. The defense of Nimzo struggling a little bit here. The wall's just about going up, and they could that small set of walls there paid for itself. Just about managed to hold that off. But Smurf, though, running rampant throughout the rest of the base. Look at this. This is nasty. Smurf with that one attack in the middle has got the upper hand. Nimzo, though, could potentially make a breakthrough on the top here. Smurf has not got enough to kill a commander, so he cannot seal the game here. But he's got enough to set Nimzo back into the Stone Age. Can't quite touch the T2 factories, but that being said, Nimzo now has the army in Smurf's base. Smurf doesn't have a huge amount of defense. He does have a few shellers, though. He has to position these very carefully around his factories to be able to deal maximum damage to these. And there aren't enough bombers here. There aren't any bombers. There's one. A singular bumblebee. Can't really deal with this, which is going to be nasty if they can get into this power line. Look at that power line. Will Nimzo see that and make a beeline for it? He's moving at the speed of his tanks at the moment. Oh, he's going for the power line. Look at that. Or is he just going to sit there? I think that's a set and forget at the moment while he clears up shop at home. Maybe moves in his second army, but this is the push, I think, to seal the deal. Both players suffering massively now. The shellers are gone. They weren't positioned very well. And now, even though this army from Nimzo, in his movement, has been more or less defended. The commander on the wrong side there. More or less defended. There is the second one. And that's still running free on the fringes. Can Smurf muster enough to really make anything count? Not really. He's got 100 units, but half of that is in the air that can't do anything because Nimzo hasn't got any air units. Smurf just has a load of, at this point, scouts. That's all they're good for. But he could use them to know where is best to strike. That being said, though, Nimzo's army, 120, all of that is in the ground with units that are going to pack a punch. So 120 against approximately 50. Not the best odds we've seen. But, as many in history have shown, not insurmountable. That being said, I really do fear for this because we don't really have the unit composition for it. We haven't got a lot of T2 bots coming out. We've only got a small number of T2 vehicles, and we've got a commander sat in his base, not doing a huge amount. He's assisting an air factory out as opposed to the T2. I'm not sure if that's intentional. But he does need more bumblebees. He doesn't need any more hummingbirds, that's for sure. And I will bet the next one out of there is a... Oh, it's an air fab. Oh, alright. He's got so much metal to try and re-expand to, and Nimzo's done a very nice job of re-expanding. Look at this. He's back up into his 200s, and that's only because he's really expanding towards Smurf on the other side of the planet here. To the extent that his fabbers are trying to build in Smurf's back garden, and Smurf's going to have none of it. So, hey, what's that fab doing? Deal with that. Nasty. Nosing around here trying to spread a coronavirus? Get out. Social distancing, please. Meanwhile, look at this. Here we go. This is going to be the killer. This army here. Mark my words. Possibly the one afterwards. Smurf again with the locusts. He has the air and looks with the intent to scout it. What can he do against it? Bumblebees miss the spinner. And he runs away. He sees this big army on his doorstep. He needs to regroup this. He doesn't want to send it in dribs and drabs. He's got a couple of pelters here to defend, so if he can kite into that, he should just about be okay. Locusts now, though, coming into the base. Deal with the mechs. Deal with the mechs. Deal with the mechs. Down it comes. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, and into the power. Oh, that's nasty. That's very nasty. Oh, that's nasty big time. Oh, I mean, Nimzo's floating a fair amount anyway, and most of that is because of this right here. This power generator. Saved his skin there. He's got a few scattered around elsewhere to support, but that was almost a big raid. And here we go, kiting into the pelters. Nimzo here, a fool for pushing in. But the pelters focusing the Infernos, and down they both go. We have got a couple of defending shellers, and we've got gillies from both sides. Here we go, I'll highlight them for you. The air flies over. Why are we still building interceptors? There's no air coming out from Nimzo. There's no reason to be building interceptors. Absolutely zero. We've lost a shallow. We're in range of another pelter now. Can we get rid of these gillies there? There we go. There's the return push. Just about clinging to life is Smurf. Hasn't managed to re-expand at the same rate that Nimzo has, who's gone from being down to 160 odd up to 300. That is the extent of this expansion, and Smurf is really far behind now. And especially after this raid, this will probably seal the deal. He's just been stalling for so long. So long, and he's been doing some really strange stuff with his build ratios. Like, why are we still building into this? I mean, Nimzo now, because he can, is building air, but he hasn't really revealed it. He's only recently started building it again. And that's because he knows, presumably, he's seen the amount of air that... ooh, hello. Hello. That could be big. It's going to be close, though. Come on, I can't... couple of well-timed Uber cannons there. Admiral says in the chat, Smurf's reclaim game was off. Yep. There's a lot of stuff there that could be sucked in, so to speak. Here we go, ready. We've got the power up and ready. It's just a case of, can we get the teleporter up and unnoticed? Yes! Here we go. Shellers getting a few last hits before they wander through. And the commander's going as well. Can we get a T2 fab going? That could be a bigger. A biggie? A big... What? A bigger? A biggie. Smurf abandoning base. Out he goes. Sacrificing his T2 factories for an attempt at a final push, but he's not got anywhere near enough to deal with this. He has got a T2 fab there. He could build some pelters, but he's just running in way too soon here. Way too soon. And that, with this single sheller left, that's it. That's the GG. Game over. A few mistakes there from Smurf, gradually rolled down into a snowball. Meant that he could not get back into this game. Especially with Nimzo's continued expansion around the back. This is what gave Nimzo the game here. This. 21 mechs. That's it. Just the 21 mechs. Smurf never had that. And that really sealed the deal, if you ask me. That and the air. Interceptors. Interceptors. Ah, Nimzo didn't even need to build spinners in the greater quantity as he could have been forced to. If there was a greater threat from bombers, imagine that. If Nimzo had to force spinners, he wouldn't have had his ant numbers as he did. Like, look at all of this over here. Barely any spinners in all of this. Because he knew that bombers weren't a threat. If he knew that bombers were a threat, could have been very different again. GG's to that one.